Hi everyone, I'm Archana Balasubramaniam and welcome to my YouTube channel. So today's video is all about my obsession with this particular writer.
Wow!
Her name is Millie Johnson. So if you watched some of my videos before, you would have already seen one of her books that I have reviewed as a part of Women's Day, as a part of a video for Women's Day. So now we're going to be talking in detail about this writer's books and why I love them and why you should try reading them too. So let's start off with the video. So why a Millie Johnson book, you ask? I'll tell you. These are three common themes that I noticed as a part of the 3 books that I've read so far. I intend to collect all her books, and just so that I get to read it whenever I want, because all her books are actually comfort reads. Sometimes I borrow books from the libraries and read, sometimes I borrow it from my friends and read, but then this time I have decided to collect all her books because all her books are amazing. So the common themes that I noticed in her book are, the first one is about women empowerment, and she means it in the real sense. As women, a lot of us go through a lot of things. Some of us deal with career problems and some of us deal with family issues and so many things. A lot of us face betrayals. Some people are even shunned by family, and some people are left out by their loved ones. And there are multiple problems a woman faces, right? With this, I'm not saying that men do not face problems. Please do not take it that way. But what I mean is that this particular book talks a lot about women empowerment. How? I'll tell you. So you will see the lives of a lot of common women. It's a book of fiction. So you will see the lives of a lot of common women who actually struggle in their day-to-day lives, who actually deal with shit in their lives, and how they try to get out of it, starting from the grassroots level to finding their strength to aiming for the stars. I'm not telling you everyone is an overnight success, okay? That's not what I'm trying to tell you. But then they reach a place where they are comfortable in their lives and contented with themselves. You may have to excuse me a little. I've been sick from the last 1.5 weeks, which is why I don't sound that good. So yes, okay, so let's continue with this. So that is one of the common themes that I noticed. The second common theme that I noticed in the books of hers that I read are, she stresses on the importance of having female friendships, friends who have your back, friends that you can count on in times of trouble. So that is another aspect of most of her stories. Her stories definitely involve like having a female friend that you can rely on, and it highlights the importance of having a good friendship. And the third theme that I am talking about is, it's not specific to women as such, but then when any of us are faced with a problem and sometimes we are so down, we actually have to find our strength from the ground level to building it up, right? So she talks about how people, when they are very down in their lives, they try to build their strength up, they try to find external sources of help, or they try to find inspiration within themselves just so that they are able to come out of it to reach a place of contentment and comfort. So these are the 3 common themes that I noticed, and her books are, I feel like, though it's a work of fiction, I feel they're very inspirational. And not just that, she is a great storyteller. So once you start reading her book, even though her books are pretty big, you feel like going on reading them. You don't feel like putting down the book. You're always living in that particular world. Okay, what is Della going to do? Okay, what is Connie going to do? So this is what runs in your thoughts. That is how involved you feel in her books. She has an amazing way of storytelling. The way she weaves her stories to keep you engrossed in it is great. So let's start off with reviewing her first book. I'm going to be giving you a synopsis of 3 of her books, the 3 which I have read, and this will help you decide if you would like to pick her book, and I strongly urge you to pick her books. So let's start off with the first one. Okay, so we are going to be starting with this book. It's called The Magnificent Mrs Mayhew by Millie Johnson. Okay, according to this book, Sophie Mayhew is the main character of this book. Okay, Sophie is married to a rising political star called John Mayhew. So Sophie is perfect for John's life in every way. Sophie is very intelligent, she is very supportive, and she embodies the qualities of a perfect wife. Okay, And obviously, as a political this one star, his image in the public is very important. You may have noticed how we have the royal kingdom of Britain and how their lives are always out in the spotlight, right? So that is how, this is what Sophie and her family deal with. So for John's career, Sophie is great, but then when trouble befalls the Mayhews, a lot of people, like including Sophie's own parents, side with John Mayhew, and they secretly plot against Sophie and decide to put her in a mental asylum and whitewash certain lies to the world and make it look like Sophie is mentally unfit to be making certain decisions. Okay, so this is what they try to do, and Sophie is now in a fix. Sophie does not know what to do. Sophie has always lived under the shadow of John Mayhew or lived under the shadows of her parents. So now Sophie has to decide if she is going to have a head-on with all that she is going through with John and the family, or if she is going to find support in a community that actually loves her. So there are like these two lives of Sophie, and you will actually see how she starts building her strength as someone whose voice was always silenced. I loved this story. This still remains one of my favorite stories. It is a comfort read, but it's also extremely inspiring. So I urge you all to read it to find out what happens to Sophie and her life. So this is the first book that I read and that I love the most among all her books. So let us move on to her second book. The second book is called Sunshine Over Wildflower Cottage. This is the second book of hers that I read. Of course, it's not the second book that she wrote. Okay, so this book revolves around the main character called Vivian. And Vivian actually finds an admin job at an animal sanctuary. There she meets a good-natured lady a little older than her called Geraldine. So Geraldine is someone who helps Vivian through her career, and Geraldine is also running away from something of her past. And Vivian doesn't know what it is, nobody knows what it is, but Geraldine is afraid of something, okay, and she is hiding from her past. And back at home, Vivian has left her mom and come here, and she and her mom share a very good bond. But then her mom has her own problems to deal with. She is trying to enter into the dating world, and she has found a good-natured person called Ian. But is Ian really good for her? Vivian's mom has a set of friends. The friends actually meet up every now and then for tea, and they discuss all that is going through. And the friends have struggles of their own. How they find strength in each other, how they empower each other is what forms the base of this story. Not just that, how Vivian and Geraldine also find friendship in each other, and how the lives of all these women intertwine is what this book is all about. And I loved reading this because it brings in a lot of character complexities. The character development is great, and which is why you should also read it to find if Vivian is actually there at the animal sanctuary because she actually needs a work or because she has an ulterior motive, and what exactly is Geraldine running from. And what exactly is Vivian's mom doing? Like, is she with the right person, or is that person Ian not even right for her? Does he have truths of his own? What about Vivian's mom's friends? Are they leading happy lives? Are they going through struggles of their own, and how they are dealing with? To find out all of these, do read this book called Sunshine Over Wildflower Cottage. I assure you it is one of the best books that she has written. Okay, so my first favorite is The Magnificent Mrs Mayhew, and my second favorite is Sunshine Over Wildflower Cottage. Of course, the third book that I read is also equally my favorite. So this is called Afternoon Tea at the Sunflower Cafe. Okay, Afternoon Tea at the Sunflower Cafe also has a very interesting background story to it. Okay, the main character is Connie, Della, and Cheryl. So Connie is the wife of the very charismatic businessman called Jimmy Diamond. And Jimmy Diamond's office manager is Della, who has been in love with him for the last 15 years. Of course, Della doesn't like Connie even though she has never met her. Obviously because she is the wife of the person she loves, right? But then every story has a twist. Jimmy is actually in love with his office junior called Ivanka. So all the while he has been leading on Della, and he has been secretly making promises to Connie, but then here he is dating a 19-year-old Ivanka. So what happens for them? How do they decide to get out of it? And not just that, Jimmy is also engaged to Ivanka. How does Connie deal with the betrayal? How is Della going to face all that she has done for Jimmy for the last 15 years? She has always been like, Jimmy has always been Della's favorite. So how is she going to deal with the heartbreak? And not just that, there is another character, a main character called Cheryl. Cheryl is a cleaner at Jimmy Diamond's company. So Cheryl has a life of her own. Okay, so she has been dumped by a boyfriend, Gary, who she had been living with. And all of a sudden she discovers that he has not only taken away all her money, she also discovers that he has now moved on to another woman. So how does Cheryl deal with that heartbreak? How does Cheryl find her way out of things? So to know more about the lives of Connie, Della and Cheryl, you should definitely read this book called Afternoon Tea at the Sunflower Cafe. I highly recommend reading these books. It will empower you in some way or the other. It deals with a lot of friendship, love, loss, heartbreaks, betrayals, and the complexities of family ties, the complexities of relationships. These are all the things that Millie Johnson's books deal with. And that is why I love that, because her character development is great and her storytelling is great. It always keeps you wanting to read more. So if you love the synopsis of these books, do pick out one of her books. And I'm sure that I have not read all her books, but I intend to read all her books in the near future. So do pick up any of her books that I have mentioned. I can vouch for these 3 books. And then let me know in the comments below if you liked it. And also, if you have any other book suggestions, do let me know. I'd be happy to read and review them. So thank you so much for watching this channel. Thank you so much for watching my video. If you're new to my channel or if you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, please do consider subscribing to my channel. The subscribe button is right there. And not just that, do give this video a thumbs up and share it with your friends or any other book lovers. I make videos every Saturday and I post them at 7 p.m. IST, and I make videos on books and creative activities. So one week it's going to be about books and the next week it's going to be about a creative activity. So I'm going to alternate it that way. So thank you so much for watching. Have a great day ahead. Stay happy, stay blessed. And you can also check out my very creative channel trailer. I know I've been going on and on about that channel trailer. It's just a 1-minute video, but it's my favorite video of all the other videos in my channel. I'll link that in the description box below. Do check that out as well. Thank you so much for watching and have a great day ahead. Bye.